April the 13th, Friday. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning. I see probably Gatori up there just stirring and peeking over the nest. It's a good time to maybe catch Dakota coming in with the morning's catch. I want to take a moment and just thank all my viewers and subscribers. This has just been a real treat to do this, and I'm pleased to get your comments and answer them the best I can. It's just been a very fun experience. Please don't hesitate to encourage others to view my channel and subscribe, and feel free to always share my videos on your social media outlets. It helps me out a lot and I appreciate it. That was somebody, whoever was in the nest, just left. And I'm not exactly sure. I'm guessing it was Katori, which means there's no one at the nest at this time. It's kind of unusual. The eaglets are getting close to, I think, about 2 weeks old. They're fairly decent size, but probably not big enough to be visible on the edge of the nest. Usually around 3 weeks. Sometime around then they'll start moving up around the edge of that nest and you'll be able to see them. So as long as they're kind of small yet, usually someone is at the nest all the time. And I don't know if they're, maybe she's just good and hungry and said, I'm going to double up on the efforts to find food this morning. At this stage, I just haven't seen the nest vacated while there's smaller chicks in the nest. They don't have too many natural predators, only when the chicks are small. Once they get about 3 weeks or so old, they're big enough that there really isn't anything that's going to be a threat to them. So we'll see what happens this morning. Maybe we'll get both adults, Dakota and Katori, coming back to the nest with food. Well, I took a little walk to see another side of the nest, and just as sure as I did, someone flew in. Didn't get a chance to see if they had anything. I don't hear anything, so I doubt there was food. But I did leave my camera running, so we have whoever that was coming into the nest. And now, let's see. I'm going to guess and say that's Katori from what I can see. She may have just been on a nearby tree. It didn't, it's hard to say, but as soon as I walked in another view, she came back to the tree. And she'll do that sometimes, like I said earlier. It's unusual if the chicks are still small, relatively so, for her to leave the nest, but sometimes she'll perch in a very close tree nearby and just kind of keep an eye on things. But just give her a chance to get away from the nest for a little bit. Well, happy Friday, everyone. It's scheduled to be a close to the 70s today, one of the nicest days we've had. The weather's been a little bit funky in the last month. We've had snow and very unpredictably cold weather in the last few weeks. So it's just real nice to see it looking more like spring around here. This is Watauga Lake, Butler, Tennessee, northeast Tennessee. It's just a fantastic area. The lake is gorgeous. 65% of the lake is surrounded by the Cherokee National Forest. Fishing, kayaking, river kayaking, tubing. Boone, North Carolina is about 35 minutes away. Bristol, Tennessee, or Virginia is about an hour away. And it's just a beautiful rural area full of wildlife and beautiful scenery, and I just love it. Here he comes, right up to the nest. Now we have both adults at the nest. Didn't see what he may have had. Very quiet up there. If he brought in food, which is highly likely that he did, oftentimes when they carry food, it is tucked really close under their chest, and you can miss it so easily. I've had them fly right overhead and think there was nothing, and then when I looked at the film, there was clearly a fish tucked underneath them. You know, their aerodynamics, just by nature, they know to do that when they fly. So he's in the nest now, maybe pulling that apart for himself or the eaglets, and when he leaves, Katori will go ahead and get back in the nest. She's still up on the branch there, perching just outside of the nest. The stealth nature of an eagle is truly fascinating, with their wingspans being, 6.5 feet wide. When you look at all the branches surrounding that nest, it's just amazing to me that they fly in at pretty good speeds and are able to slow down right at the moment they, get to the nest. They can't slow down too early, so they have to just get into that nest and without hitting branches and so forth. Now that's Dakota, who just switched places with Katori. He's on that limb and he won't stay there very long. Their ability to maneuver around these limbs and so forth is truly amazing. And it is one of the primary reasons why when eaglets fledge and they're learning to fly, oftentimes they will crash and oftentimes even die in that stage, because it's quite an ordeal to maneuver around all those limbs. Now he just left the nest.